A man is standing on the deck of a ship in the middle of a raging storm, firing a gun into the darkness. Not at a person, at something in the water. Something that isn't firing back. Something that doesn't need to. To understand how we got here, we go back to the beginning. Somewhere in the South China Sea, a small speedboat punches through rough waves. The captain of this boat is John Finnegan, a man who asks very few questions and charges a lot of money for it. His mechanic Joey keeps the engine alive on a prayer and spare parts. Their crewmate Layla rounds out a team that's good at one thing, getting cargo from A to B without attracting attention. Today's clients are making that harder than usual. A group of mercenaries, led by a man named Hanover, has hired Finnegan's crew to transport them to an undisclosed rendezvous point in open water. No details, no questions. That's the deal. Joey decides to take a look at the cargo anyway. He opens a crate and his face goes pale. The crates are packed with torpedoes, enough firepower to sink a warship. Before he can process what he's looking at, the mercenaries are on him. They drag him out and make clear that curiosity isn't tolerated on this trip. Finnegan steps in. He fires a warning shot to break things up, reminds everyone that a job half done pays nothing, and buys Joey just enough safety to survive the moment. But the message is clear. Whatever these men are planning is large, and Finnegan's crew is already in the middle of it. While Finnegan's boat cuts through the storm, a very different world is unfolding a few miles away. The Argonautica is the most luxurious cruise ship ever built. It's on its maiden voyage, and the passengers are the kind of people who can afford to be on a maiden voyage. Owner Simon Canton moves through the crowd like a man who's already won. He's proud of this ship. He calls it an unsinkable palace at sea. But there's a thief moving through his party. Her name is Trillian. She's worked on cruise ships before. She knows how to read a crowd and how to stay invisible. She lifts Captain Atherton's wallet with a casual brush, steps away, and uses his keycard to access the ship's vault. Inside, she finds exactly what she came for. Priceless jewelry, stacked behind reinforced glass like a treasure room. She doesn't get far. Canton and Atherton walk in with guards. They have a file on Trillian. Multiple theft convictions, wanted in several countries. Canton is furious. There's no brig on the ship, so they lock her in a storage room below deck and post a guard. What they don't notice is that she's still holding Canton's wallet when the door closes. Trillian settles in and helps herself to the food and drinks stored nearby. She can work with this. Back on the bridge, something is wrong. Someone has broken into the control room. They've swapped out critical system disks and disappeared before anyone noticed. The effects ripple through the ship almost immediately. Communications go dark. Radar drops offline. The crew scrambles to diagnose the problem, and then a sailor sees something through the window. A massive shape, deep beneath the water, moving fast and moving toward them. The impact hits like an explosion. The entire ship lurches sideways. Passengers are thrown across dining rooms, over railings, down staircases. Furniture flies. Glass shatters. The Argonautica, thousands of tons of steel, shudders like it's made of paper. In the storage room, Trillian is buried under a cascade of boxes. A speedboat breaks free from the side of the ship and crashes into the sea. And something rises from the water around the hull. Not visible, not yet, but it's there. The passengers who are still moving begin to panic. They run. They trample each other. One woman locks herself in a bathroom, trying to catch her breath. She hears something moving inside the walls. Then a limb reaches up through the toilet and drags her through the floor. On Finnegan's boat, the radar picks up an object on a collision course. It's the speedboat that broke free from the Argonautica, but the warning comes too late. The collision tears through the hull, kills the engine, and lights several sections of the boat on fire. Joey scrambles to contain the damage. Miraculously, none of the torpedoes detonates. Through binoculars, the crew spots the Argonautica drifting nearby. Hanover drops the pretense immediately. He takes control of the boat at gunpoint. The plan was never a mysterious cargo run. It was a heist. The mercenaries intended to board the cruise ship, loot the passengers in the vault, and then use the torpedoes to sink the ship and destroy the evidence. With the Argonautica already dead in the water, the job just got easier. Finnegan, Joey, and Layla have no say in the matter. Layla and a mercenary named Billy are left behind to repair the boat. The rest board the Argonautica. What they find stops them cold. The ship is empty. Emergency lights flicker. Blood coats the floors and walls. Lifeboats are still in their cradles, untouched, meaning no one escaped. There are no bodies. There are no sounds. There's just the creaking of a massive ship with no one left to operate it. The mercenaries aren't deterred. Money doesn't care how empty a room is. They split up. Finnegan and Joey are taken to the engine room to scavenge parts under guard, with 2 mercenaries, T-Ray and Mamuli, watching over them. The rest head for the vault. Back on Finnegan's boat, Layla is working on the hull damage when a body surfaces from the water beside her. Pale, waterlogged, barely recognizable. She leans over to look. Something grabs her from below and pulls her under before she can scream. In the engine room, T-Ray hears something. A sound in the pipes, low and rhythmic, getting closer. He goes to investigate. He doesn't come back. The sound gets louder. Mamuli heads toward it next, and Finnegan and Joey are left alone long enough to run. They don't wait to hear what happened to Mamuli. Moving through the ship's corridors, Finnegan and Joey nearly collide with Trillian, who has broken out of her storage room and is now trying to reach the vault on her own. She heard the sounds too. She just can't figure out what's making them. None of them can. Yet. At the vault, things have gone wrong in a different way. Mercenary Vivo uses the stolen keycard to open the vault doors. Inside, Canton, acting on pure fear, swings an axe and hits Vivo in the head. He goes down. The remaining mercenaries, Mason and Mulligan, panic. Guns come up. In the chaos, the 3 passengers are caught in the crossfire. Canton and Atherton are taken hostage. When the 2 groups reunite in the ship's maintenance room, Finnegan gets his first real look at who Simon Canton is. The connections become clear. Canton knows Hanover, not by coincidence. Canton hired him. The plan was always a fraud. Canton built the Argonautica at massive personal debt, couldn't make it profitable, and arranged for Hanover's crew to board during the maiden voyage, loot the valuables, and sink the ship. Insurance would cover the loss. The passengers were supposed to escape in lifeboats before the torpedoes went off. The creatures weren't part of the plan. Atherton turns on Canton the moment he hears this. Hanover has to physically separate them. While the confrontation unfolds, Trillian quietly lifts a weapon from a distracted mercenary. She's been in worse spots. Then Joey looks up. Hanging from the ceiling above them are tentacles. Thick, glistening, lined with something that looks like teeth. They're hanging still, like they're listening. Finnegan fires. The tentacle shreds, spraying fluid across the room. Something falls from it. It's Billy, the mercenary left behind with Layla. He's still alive. Barely. His body is dissolving, the creature's fluids eating through him from the inside. He screams for a few seconds before there's nothing left but bones. Canton watches this and comes to a conclusion. The creatures are a type of deep-sea predator, possibly an extreme evolutionary offshoot of an ancient species called Otoya. They feed by draining their prey through the tentacles. The liquids do the work. The bones are all that remain. The group needs to reach Finnegan's boat and get off this ship before anyone else ends up like Billy. The problem is the route out. The only viable path runs through a flooded section of the lower deck. Finnegan, Hanover, and Mulligan dive in to check it. They make it through. Mulligan finds a detached arm floating in the dark and barely holds it together long enough to surface on the other side. Back with the main group, a creature comes through the wall. Joey slams a door shut. Simon throws himself into the water to escape. Trillian falls in. Joey runs out of ammunition and goes in after her. The last mercenary holding the corridor back opens fire until he's caught. He detonates a grenade before the creature can take him anywhere. The survivors regroup in the ship's kitchen. Mulligan is unraveling. Hanover holds him steady. The group argues about the next steps. Canton reveals that as part of the original fraud scheme, he hired a private rescue team. But they're not due for another 24 hours. No one likes that answer. While the argument continues, a creature appears silently behind Mulligan. Everyone sees it, except him. Mulligan spins and opens fire. His bullets hit the stove. The gas ignites. The creature recoils from the flame and retreats into the vents. Mulligan laughs, thinking he's driven it off. A second tentacle comes through a different wall and takes him whole. No one laughs. The creatures aren't just hunting. They're thinking. Every path the survivors try leads nowhere. Hatches seal ahead of them. Corridors flood. The creatures are herding them, pushing them toward a specific destination. Canton gives directions to the bow and then quietly breaks away from the group, taking a different route toward an exit only he knows about. The survivors reach the bow and understand immediately why the creatures wanted them here. The entire forward section of the ship is a feeding ground. Bones everywhere. Whatever came aboard the Argonautica during the maiden voyage, hundreds of passengers and crew. This is where they ended up. Before anyone can act, the creatures smash through the hull from below. Seawater floods in, the group runs. Canton reappears at a hatch and seals it from the other side, cutting them off. Finnegan and Trillian are separated from the others by the surge. Joey and Hanover end up in their own running battle deeper in the ship. Hanover, calculating even now, shoots Joey in the leg to slow the creatures and uses the delay to escape. Joey makes it to a service lift and seals himself inside, shaking and bleeding. He finds Hanover in the casino. Hanover is still alive, but barely. A creature has him from the waist down. He's beyond saving, and he knows it. Joey, despite everything, can't leave him like that. He hands Hanover a pistol. Hanover uses the gun to shoot at Joey instead. The gun is empty. Hanover used his last bullet trying to eliminate a witness. The creature finishes what it started. The mercenaries are gone. Outside, the storm has cleared enough for Finnegan and Trillian to spot something through the rain. An island not far off. They make it back to Finnegan's boat. Joey surfaces shortly after, having survived the creature in the casino. Reunited, Finnegan and Joey hatch a plan. The torpedoes are still on board. If they set the boat on autopilot and crash it into the Argonautica, the detonation should destroy the creature. Joey works on the repairs. Finnegan sets the autopilot course. Trillian heads back into the ship to find a jet ski with enough fuel to reach the island. She finds it. She also finds Canton, armed with a flare gun and out of options. Canton wants the keys. Trillian runs. Canton chases her through the ship's corridors, firing flares as she sprints ahead of him. He corners her once. She slips away. He corners her again. Finnegan gets there first. He forces Canton back into the grand atrium and buys Trillian a clear path to the jet ski. And then the floor explodes. The Argonautica splits open from below. What rises into the atrium isn't just another tentacle. It's the creature itself, revealed in full for the first time. An enormous cephalopod, deep sea and ancient, with tentacles that have been threading through every corridor of the ship since the beginning. The individual attacks were never separate creatures. They were all the same thing. A tentacle locks around Finnegan and squeezes. He brings his gun up and fires directly into the creature's eye. The creature releases him. Finnegan and Trillian sprint for the jet ski. Canton watches from above. He sees Finnegan's boat moving on autopilot toward the Argonautica and throws himself off the ship's edge to land on it. It's his only option. He hits the deck and his leg snaps on impact. He can't walk. He drags himself to the controls and tries to override the autopilot. He can't. Finnegan's boat, loaded with 9 torpedoes, follows its course and rams into the Argonautica at full speed. The explosion is total. Both ships go up. The creature tangled through the hull of the Argonautica is caught in the blast. Finnegan and Trillian ride the jet ski hard for the island, the fire behind them lighting up the horizon. They reach the beach as dawn breaks. The jet ski sputters and dies. There's no way back. They settle in and wait for rescue. Then something surfaces in the water near the shore. It's Joey. He survived. He swam. He made it. The 3 of them stand there on the beach, the wreckage still burning in the distance. For a moment, it almost feels like it's over. Then a sound rises from the jungle behind them. A roar, deep and heavy, coming from something large, moving fast through the trees toward the beach. Finnegan looks at the others. Now what? Deep rising leaves its ending wide open. The roar from the jungle and the crashing through the trees are never explained. The island is an active volcanic region, and whatever's out there isn't the Octalus, since it was destroyed along with the ships. Director Stephen Sommers wrote and directed the film after the Jungle Book remake and before The Mummy in 1999. Deep Rising was a box office disappointment on release, but built a strong cult following on home video, particularly for its creature design, practical effects, and tone, which plays the horror mostly straight while keeping the lead characters likable under pressure. If you enjoyed this recap, there's more where this came from. Drop a comment if you want to see a specific film covered. And if you want regular updates, like and subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications. Thanks for watching.